what happens is, uh, earlier the distractions were less, right? I mean, people were, uh, even if you read the stories of, like, say, Newton, who discovered gravity, what sort of intrigues me is that, the ability to contemplate on a very simple event for a very long amount of time. And if you look at all the earlier stories of our major breakthroughs, they really resonate on this one particular fact. And as we are growing forward and we are developing as a civilization, as a mankind, uh, we are developing a lot of tools and techniques which essentially feed us a lot of information. And the problem with that is, it really, keeps distracting you and keeps your brain moving from one thought to another. Uh, just internalizing what's coming your way without really you getting a chance, or a focus to act upon. And I think that's the fundamental problem in any of our workflows today. So staying in the flow of the work is really, about making sure that we find that zone where our mind is fully focused on a task at hand, and then we are able to do it to the best of our capabilities. If you really, think about, just reflect on the time in your life, right? Whenever you are in the flow, fully concentrated in the moment, not worried about the outcome, not worried about future, not being backed down by present, and you will realize that those are really the most happiest and fulfilling moments of your life. So the ability of using current tech, to maximize your ability to stay in that zone through the day is what really attracts me to, pick up this topic as a keynote today. And Microsoft has put a name called as collaborative apps around that, but it's really about bringing everything together in a single platform. And that platform for our discussion today is going to be Teams. To ensure that you are not doing too much context switching and you are giving your brain a chance to focus, act, and deliver. Now, moving on to, some of the statistics here, folks. Um, this is really regarding the hybrid work, right? What is happening is a lot of us are working from home. We will look forward to go to the office, but most of the organizations have adopted a bit flexible strategy in terms of how many times will they want people to come in, and which are the events and which are the opportunities where they expect people to work from premises or from the sites, versus when is the flexibility where people will work from home. And this is to an individual empowerment, right? Now, when individual is empowered to take that call based on the impact, I think we will always enter into a meeting as a group, or enter into collaboration as a group where people would definitely be working from diverse locations. This is one of the top talent retention strategy for the organizations, to enable this for their employees. And hence we will have to assume that all future collaboration may not happen in a room, with bunch of people together on a single table. That's the 80% number. The second number is again an important number where people are saying that about 73% of the employees will want remote work option to stay. And this is really a part of a hybrid paradox, because a lot of employees have also said that they would like to return to the workplace just to get that professional connect, build a relationship, get an environment of working with your colleagues, which makes the day a bit more rewarding and fulfilling and satisfying. And that paradox is really then about people having an empowerment and choice to when to return and spend time in a professional setup along with colleagues, versus when to take a call that certain other priorities may take a lead that particular day, and they would probably choose to operate from the remote locations, and those options will continue to stay. The third data point is also a very interesting data point. It's really about how many times an average information worker uh, context switches, right? And that's the beginning that I had on this talk. So we are basically saying that for any information worker today in their daily flow of life, they may navigate average about 10 applications. Uh, it may be your, like if you're a seller, like for example, for me, with the applications that I end up using is like my forecasting tool, the tool where the pipe generation is made, the my organizations tool, so I can take a look at maybe my HR talent pool, the hiring tool where I'm looking at interviewing people, looking at the slate, then uh, something about culture diversity, just figuring out whether our people are motivated enough. Do we need to have some interventions? Another tool to look at Microsoft Win Stories, and maybe another tool where I'm keeping myself up to date about a set of technologies and so on and so forth. So we are really looking at multiple tools that we will switch within a day based on the task at hand. And every time you have an opportunity to do a switch, and many of you may be experiencing it right now, right? Because all of you probably are looking at this on your Teams from your laptop. All you have to do is one tap, you will go to a different screen with an intention to say, okay, I think in the morning I had this on the priority, let me check. But by the time you are switching that, you are probably going to look at something else that will pop up, maybe via open tab or something that is already there in, say, a browser window, or something there popping up into that tool which was not your intention, and so on and so forth, which is going to distract you. And by the time you come back to the original task at hand, you probably would have spent like 20 minutes not focusing here, not focusing on what you wanted to do because you switched from here to there. But those 20 minutes were just random set of information that you got bombarded with. And it took you that much time to, context switch into the task at hand. And that's really a number that we are going to pivot on for the rest of this discussion. So, what's really about, what really needs to have happened for us to stay in this context for the rest of our time, to be very productive and efficient in the way we spend our days, right? And I think the important point here is there are about four kind of scenarios that we can look at on how we can improve our productivity. One is automating the workflow. So, am I spending my time on the routine tasks, which I should not be doing? And those are the tasks where you really bore your employees. You really make them feel very tired without feeling very fulfilled. And hence, it's very imperative to ensure that those tasks keep taking lesser and lesser amount of time. So, any opportunity to automate those workflows is the top priority to have a very engaged and rewarding employee experience. The second one is really about async communication. Um, See, the concept of people being in a room and people being talking to each other in the context, in the real time, to get some work done is really a very ancient concept now. It sort of started to happen about 150 years back, where people decided to build offices and come to the offices and work from there. Just think about those days, right? Was it easy for somebody to send a message and say, I want you to get this done? And then that person is going to receive this message immediately, and then he's going to work on that and he's going to tell you back that, okay, this is done, you can move forward, and so on and so forth. No, there was no email system. The phones were very expensive. There was a lot of challenges in the ubiquitous nature of the phones. The printing was not easy. People were not able to even I mean, people have made careers just to move paper from one table to another, right? Those were the eras when the office concept and working in within a room were born. We are no longer there. And so it's very important for us to figure out the new ways of collaborate with our colleagues who are not going to be present just across the table. And that is where the top priority of async communication comes in. And this will require both the technology is, of course, going to be an enabler here, but what we will also need is a set of processes, hygiene practices, the people mindset changing in terms of what is okay and what is not okay when you operate in this kind of environments. Third one is the workforce mobility. I mean, we don't want our patience is really, reduced. I still remember in 1990s when I was in my college. You know, First of all, I think I did over the early days of Yahoo Chat and Hotmails, and even just to download a software on your PC, you just sit in front of the laptop, and that timer will just go on for such a long time. And we were all okay with that at that point, right? Not anymore. And people just want an instant response, instant work done. They would also like to get lot of their tasks done when they are traveling. Maybe a driver is driving their car, or if they are taking an Uber, and so on and so forth. They don't want to waste that time. So basically, having accessibility to a device which can work in a mobile construct, and being able to deliver or get a lot of productive work done even on those devices is the topmost third priority for people. And then the fourth one is really the customer outreach. Customer outreach is about, like for example, uh, every enterprise that uses modern work is having a set of customers with whom they deal with to realize their own revenues, maybe optimize some operations, and so on and so forth. Uh, are they able to connect to their customers in the way they are able to connect to their employees, right? In the context. And I'm just going to voice out one example here. Like, for example, in a bank, say a relationship manager is trying to connect to, say, their high net worth individual, right? The question is this relationship manager is equipped to look at that high net worth individual's potential on the next investment, next best strategy, next experience that you want to offer in the context. Today, what happens is most of the relationship manager either reach out to you on WhatsApp or on phone. So while they are talking on phone, probably they are not in front of the laptop, and they probably are just talking based on the information they had in the mind, they have read somewhere. Or if they are in front of the laptop, it's distracting because they're already using two devices, and so on and so forth, right? Now, what if somebody is able to bring all the information about me for this relationship manager within the context of the team? So when he calls, this information is right there on the screen, and that's where he's also talking to me, and that's where my video is also projected. Uh, it would be much more cohesive experience, both for me as a customer to the bank, and both for the effectiveness of that relationship manager itself. So those are, and there is an added advantage here, because if I'm able to now not call, like I'm a ICICI customer, right? If the call does not come to me on WhatsApp, but it really gets terminated on my iMobile app, then I am very sure that the call is really coming from ICICI RM. There is no fraud happening there. This information stays within the context of the bank, so on and so forth. So there are a lot of these things that can enable comfort for a customer, which we can enable for our customers in the way they deal, and they reach out to or engage their own customers. So I think that's the fourth topmost priority for improving the productivity and staying in the work of flow of the work. Um, I think we just looked at this slide a while back in another talk track. So it's really about bringing all of these talks, whatever I talked about, right? Your meeting, your chat, your call, your messages, your information, and integrating all of this in a single organized layer, which for us, it is going to be Microsoft Teams. Uh, so like I said, I'm not going to spend now a lot of time on these slides. It's just really about re-endorsing the message. Let's look at top 3 priorities. Enabling the hybrid work environment for our people, automate and optimize processes, which are more like routine tasks, And third one is improve your connections to your end customers, right? Those are the top priorities that we will look at. And all of these will require a lot of collaboration and additional workflows getting exposed within the context where you are talking to someone, within the context of chat, within the context of a call, etc. So let's maybe spend a bit of time to understand what are the challenges in the hybrid work. And then we will move on to maybe a small solution that can solve some of them, right? So the challenges, like we just called out, your workforce is distributed. We have got unsanctioned services used for meetings, chat, and social media, which we don't want because that's a lot of our IP potential going on to the uh, going into the outside of Teams context or outside an official approved tool context. We don't have enough visibility into our co-workers workflows and assignments because that information is not getting surfaced in the most optimized way, and that sort of hampers our project timelines. We would like to have that very readily available, and the concerns in the data security, that whether my data is staying within the context, um, am I auditable enough, I'm compliant enough, and so on and so forth, right? Those are the problem statements for hybrid work, which tech can empower and enable. Uh, for us to look at the help that we can enable by bringing a lot of these apps into Teams is really allowing us the most optimized experience on both sync and async communication. Uh, for hybrid meetings, for ad hoc messaging, document co-creation, compliance, and even some of the business process automations. One of the app that you're aware of, probably Monday.com. It's a very nice tool for project management, and I think Trello is also another competition to that. Right? I mean, so these tools are very effective in terms of how the teams operate. uh, one of the thing that I use on Monday.com especially is to tell my team that, as long as it's on these project charts, as long as we are aware of our reviews and updates with our colleagues, we do not need an internal review and update meeting, right? So we don't want to spend time on a sync time uh, for something that was available for us to consume offline, and a little bit of discipline would have made it very effective for our people. So think about these tools as enablers for us. And yeah, then we can move forward from there. I think my slides just jumped. Somebody is navigating the slides, folks. And if you're navigating, try and navigate it just for your view. Okay. What happens is, if you're looking at PowerPoint Live, and one of the reasons why I uploaded it here was the fact that you will be able to go back and forth on the slides on your own if you are getting bored here on what I'm talking. But when you do that, I think there is an option for you to say view only my and don't change the presenter view. If you could do that, that will be helpful, folks. And now my share has gone away and somebody else's screen is projected. So I think Syed, your screen is getting projected. If you can stop it.
Syed, could you please remove your video?
No,
My
not
video is off.
no. His
This is
video is off. His screen is getting projected here.
how come? Let me check it.
Okay, folks. In the interest of time, I think I'm going to just share from my own laptop. Okay, let me know if you can see my screens directly.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
visible.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it in the full screen mode, folks?
Yes.
Yes.
Then we'll proceed to the optimized processes, right? Again, the challenge is having a word workforce. If you're asking them to spend a lot of time on outdated and paper-based workflows, a lot of wasted time, a lot of slowness in the system simply because of the approval chains, and especially in the context of IT help desk, this results in longer wait times for your employees and also overtaxed folks in your workforce who are going to not doing actual work but just maintaining the hygiene on the process. So again, here is an opportunity to bring some of those workflows directly and automate. There are multiple technologies available for you to do it on the teams. The one that I would like to call out here is Power Automate, which can sort of bring. And I'm sure a lot of you are already using it. Just if you could just go to your Teams apps today and install Power Apps. Power Apps will show you multiple pre-configured flows. Um, some of the ones that are actually very inclusive and very nice is one is if somebody tells you something that this has to be done, and if you are telling somebody that please let's have this done and get this done as a chat, you could convert this to a task directly and put it on the planner within the context of Teams directly. That's one of my favorite. And the other workflow that I use is whenever I tend to work a bit early even on Saturdays, so some days, and then there are questions and there are feedback that I would like from my team, but I don't want to disturb them over the weekend. So there is a very nice flow where you can actually write your thoughts, but the schedule the delivery of the messages in the teams. And then I find that I generally schedule it at around 9:30 on the Monday morning, so my people are not really pressurized to look at something over the weekend and respond. But at the same time, I don't have to hold back my thought just because I want to be supportive of their off time, and so on and so forth. So there are some these kind of interesting flows that help you, but there is also a flow to sort of you can build flows to automate your approval processes, automate your shift management, and so on and so forth. And all of that you could possibly bring into the Power Automate. So do take a look. Exciting stuff, folks. Um, and the second one of the integration that you may be aware already is the third party. So like Teams doesn't just do Microsoft technology integration. They also do a lot of, third party via webhooks, exposing them into tabs, chats, um, even pinning into these kind of meetings and so on and so forth. ServiceNow is one of the application and ISV for HR used quite extensively in our workforces, and we have seen a lot of success in integrating ServiceNow into Teams, where people can really do uh, tasks like password resets, a new laptop request, a new leave request, so on and so forth, just by chatting with a bot, rather than really having to go to a tool to sort of navigate and do multiple click-throughs. Yeah, so the third one that I talked to you about was how do you empower your people to have better connections with their customers? And this is really one that is very close to my heart because I think this gives us a very, very different level of quality and the professionalism in which your people can engage with your customers. Uh, the challenges here are like the regulation challenge that I called out. There's a possibility for fraud if people are going and talking on different tools that are not business approved to connect to your customers. There is a poor communication because there are diverse tools, a set of tools from where the information for the customer is coming to the employee. Different tools, employees talk. And so far, people not able to get this done right, because developing an app experience for communication is used to be very development hungry and development intense work, uh, which is not the case. So again, building the custom apps using the Azure Communication Services is the key leading motion here. We have already seen success, and I am seeing immense interest coming in from the regulated industry like BFSI, healthcare, to get this done, because I think they understand the exposure of the data and some of the context going outside the business tools when we are connecting with our end customers, right? So I look at this. This is a very, very interesting play. If you're a developer, it's very empowering experience to say I can bring any external app that you are using as a customer and connect it with an internal collaboration platform directly via the communication service. So I think some of these use cases are already available for you to look at. If you could just go to the third-party reference site on the Microsoft for customers case studies, many ACS integration stories are there available. You could take a look at that. We are pursuing this for a couple of leading banks here. And get very familiar with this, because I think this is something that will have immense potential to, if you are a partner, there is a lot of potential for you to grow business on top of this. And if you are an end customer, uh, you will benefit hugely by bringing everything, both your internal and external ecosystems within the flow. I'm just going to leave you with a couple of thoughts on, just have a couple of minutes here. I'm going to leave you with a couple of thoughts on what's happening in the future. I'm not so sure whether you have attended the Ignite announcements, but one of the very excitement announcement in the Ignite was the integration of Mesh into Teams. This is work in progress, should happen sometime in the future. But that's the direction Microsoft is taking, where eventually you would be able to project your avatars into the Teams and use AI to imitate your gestures, even if your video is off, so that the other party really feels your physical presence in the moment. Organizations, so this is again an extensible framework. People will be able to create a lot of immersive spaces for their own organizations, aligned with their own culture, to resemble the physical spaces that they currently use, maybe lounges, their design hubs, studios, and so on and so forth. The other one that I wanted to sort of highlight here was the loop. Loop components are really the fluid components in Teams. And these are also very, I would say, very convenient set of tools and techniques that empower you to collaborate very effectively in the chat itself, right? And these components are synced across Microsoft technologies. So, like for example, if you create, say, agenda item, right, which is changing, you're a group of people trying to create an agenda for an event. You could create this as a loop component, and you can keep changing. People can keep adding problems. You could do voting in the context, and if anyone wants to share this, they can actually share a loop link to this loop to anyone that they want, and for them there is no need to reshare if the agenda is changing in the back end, because the fluid component will always reflect the current state for everyone who is looking at it, maybe via Outlook, maybe via Teams, maybe via SharePoint, wherever that decides, right? Extremely powerful set of techniques, sort of build fluidity in our chats, in our communication, and in our collaboration. So yeah, I mean, just wanted to leave you with three thoughts, top three outcomes that we want to enable: enable hybrid work, enable automation and optimization of the processes, and improve the customer outreach for our customers. Um, and that's really about it. Let me leave you with some of the next steps. I will share the deck. It's already uploaded on the team site when I did PowerPoint Live. Feel free to download. All the links are here on the last slide. You can start building your apps today. Microsoft Dev Center link I've added here. You can keep tab of some of these features becoming recent on Microsoft 365 blog. And you could look at some of the partner showcase solutions that are already available just to create an inspiration for yourself if you want to build something, and if you're a customer, good set of apps to look at and see whether you want to adopt some of them for your collaboration. And with that, thank you so much for your time, and thank you very much for for the patient hearing folks here. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Yeah, amazing information. Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah. Hi guys. I hope you learned a lot of stuff. Now we are moving to the next part. Say we have two tracks. One is IT Pro and one is Dev. Based on your preference, now I will share